season is true.
No, I'm good, man. People are friendly around here. Yeah, a guy back there wanting to know if I need a picture. Filming. Whew, take a break from that. March 26, 2022. Video is great. Oh. I would like to be today leaving from the edge of that peninsula over there, the outer edge, Point Pleasant Park. But because of the pandemic and many other matters, I still have yet to do that. Now, 2017, I definitely did wish to. Ooh, that's quite the hairdo. I gotta get this cut. I was gotta say this too. Boop, boop. So you could do that. Just filling up the air in my tire. I am going to talk about the food in the food, water, shelter aspect of surviving a cross-Canada trip. I'm still thinking about that fella asking to come help me with the photo. And maybe I should have. But he was all the way up his house there. So, but that's great hospitality. In my journeys across Canada, I did receive a lot of that. When I speak about food, water, and shelter, I definitely had a lot of support like that, where people would see me out the doorways, as well out their car windows, and stop, help, support, give me some good encouraging words. Sometimes tell me I could never do that, which always upset me, because I was out there to try to inspire people to say, hey, you can do this. I'm doing this. Food, water, shelter, got a lot of it from a lot of support from a lot of people. And I don't know if you did hear his voice, but boy, to hear that, there is more to nourishment than just the food. There you do get nourishment, of course, even from the water that you're given, as well as the shelter. But even those words that they give you, oh, they carry on a long, long ways. That old saying, a little goes a long ways, certainly. As for this little stroller here, it took me on a mission through the winter out in Calgary there, 5 years ago now. In March, some of the coldest weather of that year was in that week. Definitely in the minus 20s without the wind chill. Certainly into the minus 30s with the wind chill. 290 kilometers through the freezing cold. I had my supplies with me. And what were the supplies? Well, food, water, shelter. Packing it all in here. This little stroller. And then it also took me in 2017 down, and I ran from Stellarton all the way around the South Shore and all the way up here to Halifax, where I am now. So yeah, whew, mobility, and that's what I'm all out to do. This whole thing is encouraging mobility for all, the whole city. This city, a lot of people here know me as the fellow in yellow now, as I've been running around here in yellow. I'm dressed a little bit more casual today. Well, here, I'll back off here for a little bit. Because I do have a message here. Oops. Hi again. That was kind of crooked there, but hey. Here's my yellow. Yes. Can't always trust tripods. But yeah, that kind of deal. So I'm here. But yeah, I've taken this out today because I'm going to show you folks about the food aspect. What food do I get from grocery stores? And I will stuff them in here. And I'll show you all that in a moment here. It'll be a moment for you. It'll be maybe an hour or so for me. March 26th, and these little darlings are coming out. Little flowers, yay! Some with a little bit of yellow on them, yay! Well, I'm not even 500 meters from my house yet, but I'm going to change and walk onto here. I hope I don't come head on with a cyclist. But these have been just put up. Oops, dropped the phone here almost. Flippity flop. Crud. Okay. This was just put up. Not too long, just last year, really. Bike path. Right along the road, totally separated from traffic. Far over there, next to the Sportsplex there, as it reminds you, Zatzman Sportsplex. There is a bike path over there as well, both sides. Anyways, there we go. I like watching people run. Maybe not necessarily jaywalking, but hey. All right. Now, when I would come out of the wilderness into civilization, I was looking for, well, anywhere that I could get something to eat. A McDonald's definitely would do. But I was also looking for places to get supplies. Things you might need, quick things. I might need medical attention. So I'd be looking for a Shoppers Drug Mart to get, even vitamins. You can't get a lot of vitamins eating pine cones out in the wilderness. So, that would be good. I'm looking for resources. Is that an H&R Block? Well, back in civilization, we all have to do taxes. But off in the distance there, a no frills. Hey, look at that. Above the no frills sign there, you can see, smokestacks. That's coming up from the power plant. So yes, you get power as part of that civilization deal. You're looking for signs like this. Ooh, Subway. Again, a Wendy's. Oh, the options. Lots and lots of options. When you're in the wilderness, you don't have a lot. But see, over there is the Sportsplex if I needed exercise. So, of course, hi folks, me again. I live over there. This is, maybe half a kilometer or less from my home. Boy, oh boy. It's great to be home. have a nice place to stay. Because when you're in the wilderness, coming into an area like this, it's spectacular. You're so happy. Plus the high of actually achieving maybe 4 or 5 nights of wilderness camping in the extreme. And I mean, even between those hundreds of kilometers, you may not have a spot like this at all, as you see in the background, with all of these wonderful, wonderful places to rebuild yourself upon. Sometimes your only salvation out there in the wilderness is simply one of these. A service station. You can get a few supplies in there. For me, I'd be looking for potato chips, because they're a great source of energy. Milk, orange juice combination, especially when I was biking. I would be going between these places like mad and getting just that. And sometimes I would get an oatmeal cookie or something along with that. Something for my body to chew on for 50 kilometers until the next service station when I was biking. And it really was something like that, about every 50 kilometers, every couple hours or something, you take a stop at a service station. When you're walking, you don't move that fast, so not as easy. Not as easy as all. With 25 kilometer gaps in between towns and hamlets, and you might not even have a service station in between, you really got to bring your resources along with you. I'm going to go into one of those grocery stores. Motorcycles, springtime, yay. I'm going to go into, maybe not the no frills, which I usually do shop. I'm going to get a little few more frills going into my second option, the Sobeys. I'll show you probably why, especially if I stopped in a city and I had a good place to stay. Even here, I'll show you. Just next to that really big building is a smaller building, and in that smaller building, well, that's a hotel. And if you've gone 500 kilometers, 500 kilometers, it is nice to pull into a hotel, or even somebody that gives you room and board for the night without, of course, the cost of paying. They just offered it. Here we go. And sometimes they provide you with a dinner themselves, on them, which is wonderful. And that, again, that nourishment, that support, and just being able to talk to people again, it carries you so far up the road. But anyways, I'm gonna go not over to where I usually shop at the No Frills. I'm gonna go a little bit further beyond those buildings and go over to a Sobeys. I tell you, when you're coming out of the wilderness into civilization, this, by and far, is your favorite place to be. This is where you get your most important resources. I'm laughing away here for one reason. When these places are closed, I don't know if I've ever have camped in one of those. I certainly have considered it. If nobody's there to see you, nobody's in there to complain about you. So anyways, I'm gonna get ready to go in here. I'll show you how I shop, folks. Cheers.
Seasons don't have reasons for the reasons of the season is true. You have turned it on and this feeling's growing strong for you. Can we take a walk? Can we go sit down and talk at 2? Hey Amanda K, I want every single day with you. Yeah. Hey, Amanda K, we'll always have a stay. We could never ever want Amanda K. Right in from our heart, let's leave the brand start. Yeah, stay, Amanda K. If I hold your hand, can I make you understand it's you? Just give us a night, we can spin like satellites. What's new? You have turned it on, dear, this feeling's growing strong for you. Seasons don't have reasons for the reasons of the season, it's true. So true. Hey, Amanda K, we'll always have a stay. We could never ever want Amanda K. Right in from our heart, let's leave the brand.
taking a pause here. You know I'm shy and all, but I just want to say I dig you, Amanda, Kay.
Hey, Amanda Kay, will always have a stay. We could never ever part. Amanda Kay, right from our heart. Let's live the brand start. Yes, day after day. Amanda Kay. Hey, Amanda Kay, will always have a stay. We could never ever part. Amanda Kay, right from our heart. Let's live the brand start. Yes, day after day. Amanda Kay. Yeah, we take a walk and we go sit down the store. Let's never ever part. Amanda Kay. Yeah, let's make it brand start. Yes, day after day. Amanda Kay. Just give us a night. It's always outside. Let's never ever part. Amanda Kay. Right from our heart. Let's live the brand start. Yes, day after day.
It's like you can't push the parts on no more.
What do we got that for?
Oh, okay. What's that?
You betcha. Well, guess I don't need this on anymore. But, that's good. I kind of threw that together. I'd be a little bit more interested in making sure things go in there the way I want them. First things first, last things last. But those bags work pretty darn good. But as you see with the clear window, if I needed my toothbrush right away, I know where it is. I did make a mistake. Now, I could go back and exchange that. I'm not too worried. I want a potato salad. I grabbed the coleslaw instead. Oh well. But that's putting together the bag. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you something I like to do with the whey protein. And of course, I'll probably want to drink this right away. Try it out, see how it works. And I might have a little bit of that right away too. And if you're on the road coming into a town, oh, you want those little treats. They sure make you feel special. But give me a moment. I'm going to do this, do that, and we're going to show you how to. I like the Ziploc bags. I'm going to show you about that. Now, I used to get my whey protein in a bag. I like it that way. I'm used to it that way. As well, you can see how much space that actually leaves. I mean, it's really only like up to here, half full, as you can see in there. Yeah, sorry about this, I'm sloppy. But there's not much, there's a lot of space in there that you kind of want to get rid of. That's why I get some Ziploc bags. I'm going to try to do this with one hand. I do have a saying. If all else fails, use your teeth. So I can take this, put the bag over it quite easily, and it's a very large bag. So easy. I'm hoping to do this with one hand. I've never done this before. It's not easy filming, but here's an easy transfer. And you know what? I think I got it. Oop. plus a little more. Oops, there's a little more powder there. This stuff's expensive. So there you go. Now, I could keep that and use it for something else, but in reality, it's probably just going to waste space. As you see here, all of that air inside I can push down. And as long as I can seal this up, and I'll do this with both hands, not one hand, although here I'm trying with one hand. You'll hear it clicking away, but I won't trust it. I'll need a two-handed zip to assure that I got that in there. But I think that's the best way to take it. Just make sure the bag doesn't open up on you. That's a better way. Whey is my fast protein. I want whey with me. I want it as soon as I'm done at the end of the day after going 40, 50, 60, and I have gone into the 70 kilometer distances in a day, walking as well when I'm biking. I've done a 300-day bike ride. At the end of that day, you want protein as fast as you can get it, energy as fast as you can get it. Whey protein, that means I'm going to be able to get into my system as quick as I can and rebuild as quick as I can for the next day. Could be 300 kilometers one day, 150 kilometers next. On average, I was doing 150 kilometers a day. Cars are so noisy, if you heard that. So anyways, that's the whey protein. Important, not very important for putting yourself together. Very, very, very important for putting yourself back together, getting the proteins into you. But everything else I bought on that list helped to grab a hold of that protein and utilize it. Help you to get your muscles working, to keep your brain working, keep everything working. Very important. It is a beautiful day here. So yeah, there's my bags. Anyways, I'll pause it for a moment here, and we'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's what you get, folks. Grocery shopping's done. Grocery slopping. Ooh-wee. That was quite the journey out to get groceries. And it is just thinking about coming in out of like the wilderness, as I call it. I mean, there's perfectly good highway there, but off the highway, it's pretty much wilderness. You wouldn't be able to do this. No, not at all. Yeah, maybe some if you had. I don't know. I picked up a pen. I don't know where this came from. No, you wouldn't even have a place to write, send a letter. No post office. But yeah, for sure, out in the road there, you go off the highway, it is straight wilderness. I have seen bears, deer, what else? Moose, lots of birds. Seen a wolf. An eagle came swooping at my head. That was 5 times, by the way, at least. It wanted me out of the area. I think it was a hawk. Yeah, red-tailed hawk is what it was. But yeah, you're in the wilderness. It's amazing when you do come in, civilization's there, and you're able to run around and grab a whole whack of stuff. Now, what I grabbed earlier there is by no means what I'd be taking completely into the wilderness with me. I'll show you what I would recommend, for sure. Oats are good. I like oats for the fact that they're also very fibrous. And I want that to collect food around itself. And when I think about eating, that these things are used for. Chomping it down, turn into mush, turn into mash for your intestinal tract. That's where your, well, all your bacteria, microorganisms that live in there to help break down the food and give you the nutrients you need, produce those nutrients even. It's amazing. That's what I want to talk about, because it jumped into my head. And very early on, I can put the oats down, I guess. Very early on, I considered my body the soulless body. And what I mean by that is we are not one. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of different microorganisms in us. I think I heard, I'll have to back this up, but about 90% of the cells in, around, and on your body are not yours. They don't share your DNA, yet they live with you. So think about it. This is only 10% of the cells on our body. You're like, well, how can that happen? Well, our cells here they're pretty large. Skin cells large, blood cells large, and even as we think about COVID, the viruses that are able to penetrate into the cells of our lungs to reproduce themselves, those cells in our lungs are much, much larger than those. So that's how the math comes about. Let's just say, this is probably not true, but let's just say, for example, that the cells in our lungs are 90% larger than the virus that goes in them to produce COVID. It's probably much larger than 90%. So you can see that it'll add up. But that said, we really think of ourselves as one entity. I'm Trevor. Well, I'm a little bit more than that when it comes to all of that. And on top of that, as I was talking about the wilderness, the bears, the deer, coyotes. I had coyotes howling around my tent one night. They wanted me out of the area. They were giving me a warning. Scat. That's another story. Moose, all those birdies that come flying by, wake you up in the morning. Delightfully wake you. Raccoons that one night, to scare them off because they were moving around and coming around my tent, I went, sorry about the clipping if that happened. Yeah, all this fauna and flora out there, healthy, working together, to keep each other alive by eating the grasses, and some of them that are eating the grasses being eaten themselves by larger eco-nut monsters, I'll call them. Well, the wolves, the bears, the coyotes. Chasing them down. Like that exterior ecosystem, we ourselves are an ecosystem in here, in here and all over. And we must keep it in harmony. If we don't, well, there's trouble. I don't like in my ecosystem. Now, it has a little bit of bread on the chicken I have here. I don't usually like to have a lot of flour, and I just find that it causes, probably when it comes to that ecosystem, the creatures in there, and we'll call them creatures, that like the flour, like the breads, like that stuff, they don't seem to like me too much. I get more aches and pains in my joints and knees. I think my muscles kind of start acting a little bit weird. So myself, I've tried to get away from a lot of bread. A little is okay, and when you think about it, to me it's like, think of a forest. and you light that forest on fire. All of a sudden, it changes the whole ecology of that forest. New things pop up that haven't been there before. But, if I overload with just bread, I become less healthier. I mean, there's a lot of carbs in bread. But then I often wonder, like a little bit of weight gain from all those carbs. Yes. But also, maybe I'm not making my ecosystem that healthy. Maybe I want to change something. My example always is this. Carrots are very healthy. They are. We know them as healthy. Yeah. But hey, bananas. We love to eat bananas. They say bananas are the perfect food. Okay, they're going to keep you going. But if you were just eat bananas, or just carrots, what's that do to the ecosystem? It's like saying if you just had bears, okay, in the forest, and you just had deer in the forest, how healthy is the fauna in that forest with just two? Yeah, just two species. And when it comes to those microorganisms that are there to help you become healthy, a little bit of, it says right here, a little bit of Greek yogurt. There's some organisms built right in. I've laughed. I still laugh at this. I never heard probiotics before SARS. I didn't. There's such a paranoia through, I think the late 80s, 90s, into the early 2000s, about bacteria. And we've seen in those commercials, Lysol, 99.9% get rid of the bacteria. For the most part, in certain areas, you want that to occur. But people were spraying it all over their house. And I've said this in an interview with the Weather Network at one point. A healthy adult is a runny-nosed child, or a runny-nosed child is a healthy adult. And I've also said the most important thing an adult could do for a child, as a child, is plant them a garden. At least expose them. Let them make their mud pies. Not necessarily eat them, but just getting those microorganisms on their hands and introducing those healthy microorganisms into the body changes things. How do I know this? Going into my walk across Canada, I brought along with me an EpiPen. And if you don't know what an EpiPen is, it's one of those things that when you have an allergic reaction, you punch it into your thigh, and it shoots a whole whack of adrenaline and whatever else in there into you to get you through anaphylactic shock. You can read it and however you pronounce it. I think I said it right. Anaphylactic shock, and that's when your system just closes in. Everything just swells up. You might not be able to breathe. Hives and who knows what the reaction is, but that's your allergic reaction, and that allergic reaction can kill you. It's basically your body overreacting, going on freak mode. Wow, I've been there. That's what I'm thinking. I have been run to emergency for that. Going to work, just kind of felt like something got into my eye. It somehow got into my tear glands, and from there it maybe got in through other, like my nose, my mouth, and I was on the way to work, and it was so quick. I felt the itch, the burn. Then I felt things starting to close up. And by the time we got to work, I was having a full reaction. Eyes puffed out. It was crazy. And for 3 hours, they pumped me full in IV Benadryl. Benadryl, I think. Whatever, Benadryl, I don't know what to call it. But it saved me. It's crazy to be on a heart monitor after you just simply touch something. And I think it was maybe early spring, maybe they put something down as a, what am I trying to say here? To get rid of pests or whatever, right? Insecticide or something. It was one suspicion, or just simply something start to release its spores at that point. And that's what I was allergic to. I don't know. They never found out. But it's scary. And they said, you need to, they prescribed the EpiPen. So that was one of the issues. Allergies. and they do say yogurt, those probiotics. Otherwise, probiotics, because people are so scared of bacteria, certainly back then, if you said there's bacteria in the food, nobody would want to eat it. So that's where they came up with the word probiotics. And what? When everybody found out bacteria is good for you, all of a sudden you see that slapped on every bloody bit of yogurt containers in the grocery stores. We have probiotics. You always had probiotics. and if you look in the ingredients closely, it will say bacterial culture. So that ecosystem has a society. It is very cultured. Trevor, shut up. But I also had other health issues previous to my walk, and that was breathing problems. I would spend at least I'd be in a clinic at least once a month, Ventolin, to open up my lungs. With that, they gave me a puffer. Ear problems, leg, back, shoulder problems, neck problems. Did I mention the ear problem? All these things. Laying on a couch, bad back problem. It wasn't too long after that I said, you know what? If I don't do something dramatic, I'm not going to live to 50. Turned 51 yesterday. Seriously, I was not healthy. I have a saying now, after that. If your body is revolting, it's time for a revolution. I'll say that again. If your body is revolting, it is time for a revolution. My body didn't know what the hell it was doing. But it was doing exactly what I told it to do under the circumstances. It was trying hard. It was recognizing things it didn't know, but it never had a lot of exposure, or as much exposure as it could have had to actually figure out, okay, where's the cutoff? How much do I have to protect the body against this foreign entity that's entering it that I don't understand, don't know? So sometimes your body freaks out. But if you've exposed it, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I was exposed to COVID. And that was hard. However, that was 2 years of not really being exposed to any other virus. So sometimes that plays an effect as well on how you react. But do expose yourself. And I mean that in a good way. Put yourself out there, make some mud pies, go camping. And I did. I camped all the way across Canada. 5 years after that national exposure, I was at a first aid course. And he brought out a wicker basket. What he wanted to do was to show us how we can assist somebody if they are having an allergic reaction. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, I've had those, and they are severe. And I thought about the sticking an EpiPen if I needed it. When I was on the road, I certainly needed an EpiPen because I was in the wilderness. And if I would have to stumble out of the woods and get onto the road to get that help, that support, it didn't happen. And I thought about that. Well, it didn't happen. I had injectors, inhalers, squirty things, put things up my nose, sprayed in my mouth, injected into my legs. Everything in that basket that he showed me, I had used. So he didn't have to show me how to use these things. But one thing that really stood out is I hadn't used them in 5 years. Why? I had no idea. I had some idea. Now, was it those microorganisms? Like I was exposed from Vancouver, BC, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Prince Edward Island. This is what I was doing. Camping, exposing myself to the elements. Let me be specific with that. Of course, it was that one hot night in the middle of the Trans-Canada. Anyways, no one was around. It was hot. But yeah, this might have saved my life. It certainly, health-wise, greatly improved. I mean, going from a car, and literally, a car would drive by, just the exhaust from the car sometimes would trigger that reaction where my lungs would just tighten up and I'd have a difficult time breathing. It's ridiculous. And here I am still today, very little of these crazy allergic reactions that I used to get. So, yeah. Was it the microorganisms I was putting into my body through food? Was it the fact that I was providing that microorganism in there with a variety of food? What else? Was it the food itself, bringing the proper nutrients, the vitamins? I think absolutely a combination of all that. And creating a harmony. Here's my harmony, this triangle. Exercise. That's number one. That is going to dictate exactly what you'll need. Because it's going to tell you. I know when I drink down a can of pop that my energy is going to go, well, the energy's still there. But you need calcium. I talked about that before. If you dump a can of pop full of sugar, lots of energy, especially those power drinks, energy drinks, caffeine, caffeine's okay. In there, the thing that's going to kill you is the acid. It's going to sit in the stomach down here, and you need a stomach to digest. So it wants to protect the stomach. If there's too much acid in there, it wants to do something about it. So what it ends up doing is dumping calcium out of your bloodstream. So the calcium comes out of your bloodstream into your stomach to neutralize the acid a little bit. Now, when that occurs, the bloodstream has to find calcium somewhere else. Because it has to provide it for the brain. It has to provide it for the muscles. This little thing here. If it doesn't get the calcium here and here, you don't work. you need calcium for muscle contractions and brain synapses. Those neurons got to communicate back and forth, and they do that with the use of a little bit of calcium. Without it, you're going to lose those functions slowly, lessen. Your body will know that, and it'll drop down your energy level for you. The feeling of energy. The energy's still there, but it's going to make you slow down, make you fight hard for what you need or want, anyways. In that case. So, yeah, keep the acid out of your stomach. But that said, it's really trying to keep things in a balanced harmony. And that's why I talk about fast sugars, slow sugars. A fast sugar is there immediately when you need it. Slower sugars, they're going to release throughout the day when you need it. When you're not continuously putting food in your face, you stop for a couple hours, a few hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, if necessary. But you're picking away at it. Your body, those microorganisms are still breaking it down, still looking at it. Fast protein, same thing. Fast protein. Oh, we're going to start talking about food. After 40, 50, 60 kilometers of walking in a day, even 20 kilometers if you're going straight up a hill like the Coquihalla Highway, I want immediate protein when I lay down. Immediate. I want it in the system because I have to rebuild. Because the very next day, I'm going to be out there doing the same damn thing, right? I need to be able to rebuild fast, overnight, so I can do another 40, 50. Newfoundland, I tore across Newfoundland in 22 days. 2 of those days were weather days where it was just way too messy to be out on the highway safely. So I hunkered down. So in reality, I crossed Newfoundland moving in 20 days. But yeah, whey protein. This is also like taking milk on the road. It can be. I mean, they put a lot of the same thing in here because this is for fitness people. So you're going to have an amount of calcium. As I look at this sucker here, what are we looking at? Oh, we're looking at a lot of fast sugars. That's immediate. Again, when I come off the road and I get a little bit of, an ability to get some of this, or even in a service station, maybe not necessarily chocolate milk all the time, but I certainly will get the milk. For, as it says, 8 grams of protein per 250 milliliters. So half of this, that's going to give me 16 grams of protein. And that's fast protein. Fast because it's, I was going to say pre-digested, if not, but it's broken down. Well, it's not. It has been, I guess, through the cow to to get to you quick. So, yeah, that's pretty good. 32 grams. Is that right? Something like that. Yeah, 32 grams protein per 1 liter, and that's plenty for that hour or two if you need it. But I mean, protein's really when you go and you have time to put it together when you're sleeping. I would choose something like this for sleeping. This is what you want to sleep on. Like those microorganisms that like the protein. Now, you're going to have those ones that are specific. They want this stuff. If you don't provide enough of this, I'll talk about, I did work for the Calgary Zoological Society, so, I'm interested in animals. But one fact is the Great Canadian Lynx, when the snow hare population diminishes, so do the lynx population. And when, of course, the snow hare population increases, thus the lynx population will increase as well. It's the same thing with those microorganisms in your gut. If you don't provide them, well, this isn't a snow hare, but you need to provide them the lynx. and we have them. You need them in there to help break that down. Specifically, they're going to like it, and then you're going to have other creatures in there that like maybe stuff like this. You're not feeding yourself. You're feeding an entire ecosystem. Think about that. So the slow protein, it's going to chew on it. You have one of these during the day, it's going to slowly, as it sits in your gut, it's going to be chewed away on. And as well, when you're sleeping at night, you're sleeping there, and it's this constant trickle of protein that your body needs to help put you back together. So you often don't get chicken out on me in the forest. You could probably, you might get some turkeys out there. You can find some wild turkeys or other birds, but that does take a lot of energy. Say for me, when I'm trying to move across Canada, you'd have to take a day to hunt or half a day, and it will take a lot of energy. Me, if I go get into a town, take it with me. This I wouldn't take on the road because, of course, it's not going to stay good for a while when it comes to protein. Not good. So that kind of slow protein can't have it. I can bring this fast protein, but I know I have somewhere here. I had one. Pardon me for a moment. There it is. Aha! I keep it with protein. Got to keep organized too when you're in tent. I was looking over here in the sugar area. No, this is the protein area. This is where you're going to find it. A can of tuna. And these things are great. I don't need a can opener. Peel that off. I did bring, if you're worried about order, shouldn't be eaten in a tent. But, this can be your garbage pail. Hello. And you can put this in here. You don't want the tuna odor. Take it along, seal it up. And, it's good. But that's definitely a can or two at night. Again, to digest on throughout the night. Perfect. So that's a good thing. Tuna. Ooh. Fast protein, slow protein. Covered. And, you can take whatever your other ideas. I used to like, they used to have steak, like large tuna steaks and beautiful sauces and stuff. I love this Thai sauce that they had, this Thai curry sauce. They don't make it anymore, unfortunately, but I really love them because you lay them flat, pack in there well. That's it. So that's the fast protein. Slow protein. Middle protein. Yeah. There's some protein in here, of course. It's like this. Milk. I call this block milk jerky. This is like beef jerky or turkey jerky. Whereas you can carry along and it's going to stay with you for pretty good. Cheese, especially the cooler, spring, fall, it stays pretty much consistent. It doesn't go too soft or whatever. Of course, on hot days, not so much. But the one thing is, it was created using bacteria. And it will keep well. It will go moldy. That it will do with the mildew. But it's good. Again, it's got the calcium just like the milk. It's very slow digestion. It has slow sugars. And I call fat slow sugars. And, sure, scientists are going to go with, well, fat is fat, sugar is sugar. You do slowly break this down, the fat, into sugar molecules eventually that you'll use. So you want that. So it's a good thing to take along, and it's really good to chew on inside your gut once it's in there. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff, and big calcium. What did it actually say here? I do like to work there. 30 grams. For 30 grams of this, And usually the conversion, 100 grams is pretty close to 100 milliliters. 100 milliliters, sorry, my butt is falling asleep again here. So if I look at it, protein is 7 grams. And calcium, you get for that 30 grams, 15% of what they recommend for your day. So, a couple of blocks of that's going to do you good, really. So it is a good piece of, I was going to say kit. It's a warrior kit. So what do I got there? Fast proteins, slow proteins, fast sugars, and there's your slow sugar. Starches are good as well. Stuff like that. Carbohydrates. What's the protein content in here too? This is something I never look at this. What do I got for protein? 5 grams. 5 grams of protein for 30 grams, so similar. Be a different kind of protein, but you need a whole variety of proteins. So many different amino acids create us, so we need that. So when you break that down, again, one microorganism is going to like one thing, another species is going to like something entirely different. So keep them fed. Get a little farm down there. So certainly that, as I look at that, a little bit of potassium in there too. Not too much, and not too much calcium, about 1%. However, can't read a banana. It's got a bit of sugars, and it does protein too. Of course, all life-based creatures have proteins. That's what we need. Bananas are good for your potassium. When they do ripen, watch it though, because stuffing them in a bag, you're going to have banana guts everywhere when they get too ripe. So don't expect to keep bananas over a couple of days or a few days. Anywhere beyond that, they start to become a problem because they will ripen up on you and they will become mushy. So alternative to that, processed banana chips. 30 grams. What's it got in here? Protein, 1 gram. Carbohydrates, 7% of your daily dose, and that would come to, it says 20 grams of carbohydrates. Sodium, nothing. It actually has good fat content, which surprises me. So it does have your slow sugars in a banana. It really is a pretty good food. And that content is 12% of your daily intake of fat. 12%. Amazing. 30 grams. That surprises me. Yeah. And as for any other, that's got a little bit of iron and a little bit of vitamin A. So, yeah. Bananas. Oh, and keep you away from the mud. This itself, of course, when your bananas get mushy and you still like bananas, that's another option. An option. I've never used it. I've never done it. Here's what I found worked really good when I was. And I got carrot. I'm gonna bring one right out. Roots are good. I like these, as you can see, the nice pointy little end. And you could take, like in a bag, it could be the last thing you jam in, and you're wedging it in there. And carrots will keep. Carrots are holding the life of a plant. And if you're a gardener, not a garden, this is a little gooey here at the top here, but the carrot itself is going to keep. It is a root. And if you, again, are a gardener, actually I can see a little bit growing right there. I broke it off. Sometimes you can take, if you see a little bit of growth, plant it in the ground, soil, and then a whole new plant will grow up out of it. It's holding life. And it can hold your life very well as well. So carrots are very good, and of course, got good vitamins, nutrients, really good. As you probably already noticed, I do go raw. I go raw. So raw carrot. Time is energy. Time is energy. Well, so that's one root. This is a rutabaga. And I do like to gnaw. They're sweet. They're not as zingy as a radish or a turnip, but they're related. They're sweet. They taste sweet. And yes, peeling and all. Of course, the peelings have actually a lot more of the nutrients than the inner, even. So you're gonna get boonga boonga. Gnaw the raw. So, very good. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but again, this will keep for a week or longer in all kinds of conditions, because it is a root. It's holding nutrients. It's holding liquid. So that's that. All right, what else we got? Here's a mix. Autumn Trail Mix. What's it got here? Here's a list. Peanuts, Thompson's raisins, sugar, dried papaya, dried pineapple, dried apricots, almonds, banana in there? Okay. Soya bean and peanut oil, coconut oil, sea salt. Oh yeah, need some salt, don't you? I was thinking about healthy foods before the walk when somebody I work with said, "Ever think about potato chips?" I'm like, "No, why would you think potato chips healthy food?" Oh, heck. As I say, milk jerky, that's potato jerky. Dry potatoes with salt. So you can get some salt content there as well. I don't like, and it does have sulfites, because I did try to just go along with something like that. It helps preserve it, but my body just didn't. And maybe it's not my body. It might be the gut. They didn't like it. Which also reminds me of a story of. I got the soy Vector cereal. It's going to sound like I'm knocking you, but Vector cereal. I said, well, here's everything I need: protein, carbohydrates. It has a good content in it, right? Awesome. Vitamins that I would need right in it. So, could I go with just eating a box of that for the day part? Even maybe a little breakfast and onward. I tried it, and I found my energy level going. It still is processed, and a lot of the processing may get rid of. They put the vitamins back in, but they also get rid of enzymes and stuff. So I thought, I had all the energy's there, all the protein's there. No real means to take that and break that down. And so, yeah. You can get pills that help with digestion, with people with digestion problems. Not able to produce the enzymes that they require. The body does produce enzymes. Every living thing produces enzymes to one degree or another. But some people have deficits, so they end up taking enzyme pills. Now those enzyme pills, papaya and pineapple is basically the main ingredients. Pineapple. So when I come to town, out of the wilderness, I'll munch down that. Drinking way less water once I'm in, and getting a lot of my hydration out of these. Hydration and enzymes in. So that's good. It will help you break down a whole array of different varieties of foods. So that's good. Enzymes. and processed. This is processed as well. What do we got here? Here's what we're going to find out about pineapple. 2% iron, daily dose, 1%, and that's per, well, let's say 100 grams. It's very little there. Protein, 1 gram. So if you compare that with some of the stuff I discussed, because it is saying like 100 milliliters, which again, about 100 grams. Not a lot. Quite a bit of sugar. Just in one of these containers for the day, it's you're going to get 14% of your sugar. But they're good when this is what I take during breaks. The enzymes, they're probably lower. Vitamins that might be in here probably greatly reduced. Again, when you process, that's what occurs. Freshly diced is better than what's in here for the most part. But it's definitely a good substitute when you can just kind of rip one of these out of here. And as you take a break every couple hours, few hours, you can have one to keep you going because it has that sugar, that energy. Another thing I did like to have were these, same thing. It's basically applesauce. It really basically is. These things are just applesauce. Apples are cheap. I do have apples. I take a few. I don't take my whole big bag. Now and then. Apples are really good. When I was a young bachelor, I'm an old bachelor now. You would go to my fridge, and instead of beer sitting in there, you would see apple juice because I'm a very hard worker. My average work week was at least minimum 65 hours a week. And I have done 80-hour weeks. I did hit 100 hours in a week, if you can believe that. I was constantly working, 4 hours sleep sometimes. But I would have it full of apple juice. And they did a test between apple juice and even coffee for giving you that feeling of energy. And I already discovered it long before this test. Apple juice provided me with the zing to get me through so much. So this would too. If you look at the ingredients. Okay. It's advertised, what is it? Apple and strawberry. Main ingredient, apple, water, then concentrated strawberry puree. Natural flavor always confuses me. That doesn't necessarily mean that is strawberries either for flavoring. I don't know what. Oh, concentrated carrot juice, concentrated red cabbage juice. Those are for color. Ascorbic acid. Ooh, that sounds scary. That doesn't sound healthy for you. What is ascorbic acid? Anybody know? Apples, water. I know. I'm being me. Okay, the ingredients in this one: apples, water, blueberry puree, concentrated carrot juice, concentrated blueberry juice. Both of those for color, and that ascorbic acid again, and natural flavor. On a totally unrelated topic, yes, vitamin C does help. We need vitamin C. We've all heard the stories of the great travelers of the past getting scurvy on ships, and eventually they learned, hey, if we take this along with us, something that will provide you with vitamin C. And it was a tradition that at Christmas time you'd find an orange in your stocking, an orange. That was to keep people from having a deficit of vitamin C getting. So here's a treat. You don't have scurvy. Okay, what am I down to? I did show you the oatmeal. I do like to have this minute oats. I mean, even through the day, if you wanted to put a little bit in your mouth, kind of suck away on it until it gets mushy and then swallow it, not a bad idea. Oatmeal is what they give thoroughbreds. Horses, high performance. Definitely, I take this over flour. Anytime, hands down. For me, flour just does not do the body and joints well. It just, I don't know what it is. It's again that microfauna in there. We're so heavy on it in our society. Flour, flowers. Sorry for the people on the prairie. I love your canola oil. Those nice yellow fields, especially for the fellow in yellow. Fellow in yellow. Hey, Robin Hood, fellow in yellow. Yeah, I know it just doesn't feel good for me. Oats for the thoroughbred. Yeah. And that includes this crunchy little thing. If I'm not wanting to suck on things, to moisturize it, certainly. And again, I do like that because that there's a lot of surface area for bacteria to grow on top of this in your gut. So yeah, this has some roasted almonds. Nature Valley granola bars. Haha. Okay, so what's it have? Whole grain rolled oats, sugar, and or golden sugar. I always laugh at the and or. Sugar and okay, and it might have it, but and/or means or it doesn't. And in this case, sugar and or golden sugar. Golden sugar, they're trying to trick you. Oh, I got to do a vlog just on the great food deception, how they try to deceive you with the ingredients for people who read it. As a lawyer, which I'm not, I could almost guarantee that they do not have golden sugar in this. When it says and or, because when they're given the option, they're going to go with the cheaper option. So in that cheaper option, you're probably just getting the sugar, not the golden sugar, if that really matters anyways. Oh, look at that. Canola. High monounsaturated. It does say mono, whatever. Canola and or high monosaturated sunflower oil. You're probably getting the sunflower oil. Almond pieces. Okay. Oat bran, golden syrup, salt, rice flour, soy, lecithin, and natural flavor. Oh, they're good. As I read off the ingredients, am I coming to an end? I'm pretty much coming to an end. Consider most of this stuff, the odor aisle. Odor aisle. Odor aisle. What else we got here? Odor aisle. What else do we got? This was found in the odor aisle. This. What do we got here? Yeah. Odor aisle. I shop the odor aisle of the grocery store. Now I'm going to read off some ingredients. Bananas, coconut oil, sugar. Well, it doesn't have the ingredients on here, but it's probably chicken, maybe some pepper, and some flour with something mixed in with it. So probably 4, maybe 5 ingredients. Trail mix, that's still healthy. Yeah. A lot of ingredients, individual ones. We'll go back to that one. Odor aisle, banana, odor aisle, apples. One ingredient. I say if it's under 5 ingredients, it's healthy. There is one of these supermarkets as well that point that out with a check mark. It's a good thing. When things get up over more than 5 ingredients, you start to get things that you can't really pronounce and confuses you. Noun. That's how it's basically noun saturated. I think people say monosaturated. I don't know what that's a scary thing. Almost as scary as ascorbic acid. But sometimes you get these ingredients you just don't know. Sodium benzoate. I don't have that here. Probably have that in a container of. No, don't have that here. Container of potato salad. Sodium benzoate. The benzoate's the scary thing. Under ultraviolet rays, that even fluorescent lights can start to turn that benzoate over a period of time into benzene. Benzene is a carcinogen. A carcinogen causes things like cancer. Under 5 ingredients, you're probably buying the best, healthiest food that you can for yourself. So keep that low. That's my food. And I'm telling you, this definitely went on long. This is going to be a long video, but food is so healthy. And I did start to talk about this. Exercise, number 1, exercise. Number two is your food. Exercise, food. Because when you exercise, you need the food to put you back together. Every time you exercise, you're doing microscopic surgery to your body. You're changing the inner mechanics. You're asking the inner mechanics to go, I want you to turn my vehicle, the thing that moves me around inside, from a ladder. Everybody knows what a ladder is. They're rust buckets and were disposable cars, including, well, I think K cars used to be like that too. But you're going to turn it from that into a Lamborghini, a heck of a machine. And that's with exercise and food. And one other thing, the strongest triangles. Triangles are geometrically the strongest thing. That's why they built the pyramids like they did. That's why they're that shape. We see it all the way around in structures. For your structure, you need your, what do you need? Oh, exercise, and you need food. You put those together along with rest. Right down here, that's your rest. That's you sleeping. Right there. See? Ooh. Yeah. Exercise, food, rest down here, and you got it. And you'll be stronger and stronger and stronger, and healthier and healthier and healthier. Now, it's taken me all of this video to get down to why I went across Canada. Cancer prevention, research, and awareness. And that, again, is a strong triangle for me. Cancer prevention. Number 1, prevent it. If you've prevented it, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you've prevented it, you have a cure. You have created a cure for yourself. If your actions prevent you from getting a disease, you have a beat. Prevention. If you don't know what it takes to prevent cancer, this is the way I looked at it. Right here. Research. Search for a way to prevent it. Search for a way to prevent it. Research if you can't. And then prevention, research, and in that research, you find a way to prevent it. And that all comes together. The basis of that, let people know. Okay? Let people know how to prevent it. And that's why I went across Canada. I haven't had cancer. I haven't had it. People in my life have. People in my life had other illnesses. I've had illnesses. I've overcome them. I said this to a doctor. The problem with our healthcare system is we have too many unhealthy people in it. People say, well, what are you out there, to beat a record going across Canada? No, I was not out there to beat a record. Or go, wow, look at what you're... I was out there for one purpose, one main purpose: to beat the odds. For myself, oh yeah, there's a 1A and B, maybe a C and a D. But my one purpose is to beat the odds. For myself, A, B, for everybody else. Well, you're putting yourself first? Yeah, in this case I am. Yeah. Setting that example. And that's what you have to do. You have a lot of heroes in your life. A lot of heroes. Previous to me even stepping out. And my heroes, I'll tell you them. Rick Hansen, wheelchaired all the way around the world. Wheelchaired. 2 years, 2 months, 2 days. 80 kilometers a day, wheelchairing it. Hero. We all know Terry Fox. Halfway across Canada, did his damnedest. And as sick as he was still healthy enough to go as far as he did. Well, think about that. Really, really tried. And, he never quite finished his journey across Canada. But I'm sure he would realize that he went much, much further than he ever would have anticipated. Steve Felani, who just passed away, I don't think even a month ago, he took over that charge. And where Terry wasn't able to finish it, his journey with the use of an artificial leg, Steve Felani did at the age of 19. And they're great heroes in my life. And there's a lot of great heroes in my life, as I think. One jumps into my head is Tony, coach, gymnastics coach. I was a bit of his understudy. But boy, I learned something from him when I was ran towards a vault and turned to my my comrades, my friends that were trying to learn the same thing from Tony as I was, going over that vault. Me with a leg that I almost lost. And I said, I can't. And I couldn't. My gosh. It was just but 3 years prior to that, I was really fighting to keep my leg. Operations, surgeries, open wound for a year and a half. So basically the leg really was only healed up and closed for a year and a half when I was charging that vault. But I was there. Anybody that steps in his gym, you're there for a reason. The outcome has to be all the same to Tony. And he yelled out, "Who is cursing in my gym?" I'm like, "Did you curse?" And they're looking at me awkwardly. I'm like, "I didn't curse. I wasn't one to curse. Curse like a sailor now." But But boy, this is what he said to me. Who was cursing in my gym? And I'm still looking back. What? Talking person? I never heard anybody. Like, it's you? Is it? Trevor, it was you. I'm like, what? And I'm like, red. I turned this color. I'm embarrassed. I did not. I'm like, no, I didn't. He says, yes, you did. He said, the worst curse word there is. I'm like, oh boy, is it? No. He goes, no, the worst curse word that you can say is can't. It will curse you. Prevent you from doing anything. I have on a t-shirt. I just made up. I should have wore it. This is my city clothes. My Fellow in Yellow t-shirt says, because I can, on it. It starts off like this, and it's simple. I am here because I love you. Because I can. Yeah. And love is appreciation. I appreciate it. I know how I felt when I was unhealthy. I know how I feel when I'm healthy. I want everybody to feel this way. Along the way, with the encouragement of and actions of Rick Hansen, Terry Fox, Steve Fonyo, and many, many more, including people like Tony, Edith Green. Edith Green, what you've been through, Trevor, you should be angry. Because what it was said was, she said to me, "It's okay to be angry." I'm like, "I'm not angry. I'm not." You should be. You should be. But it's okay to be angry. Use that anger. So all those emotions, all that power, all those words, nourishment, all of it, what people see with their eyes fills them up inside. It does. You know, it can help them with the strength to do great, 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 amazing things. There isn't just a Terry Fox. So many people behind him. A whole nation was. You know? Rick Hansen. There's not just a Rick Hansen. There's not just a Steve Fonyo. There's not just a Tony. There's life, there's experience, there's people they met. You're not just talking to that person in front of you. You're talking to every single person that person's ever met. So you can see my draw. When I go out there, you know, I'm looking for heroes. I'm looking for them. People that are going to give me nourishment with their words, help me up the road. A little does go a long ways. It really does. As much as food, a word here and there. Poems were given to me. Songs were written for me. You know. And yeah, I want to go out there and do it again. I'm hoping to have the funds. I'm hoping to find heroes in you. But of all those heroes I talk about, my greatest hero in my life is me. And it has to be. I want everybody to think about that as you're putting food into your body and you're out there exercising, moving. Become your own greatest hero. Because I know the more we move, the more we move others. I don't want to leave you now. I'm so excited. But I guess the next video, this is what, food? I'll get in a little bit deeper. Deeper. Water will be the next. And we'll see. And I've got a heck of a lot of, the more time I talk, the more time I have to edit. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I'll say, cheers, folks. Keep moving.